As a student, my priorities for the tech that I use have shifted a lot, mainly from power and speed to portability and simplicity. I've gone through many different powerful Windows desktops and laptops, but I found myself mainly working with Apple's ecosystem ever since the MacBook Air M1 because it has a lot of simple and effective features that make all the difference when it comes to workflow, including video editing and programming. So I'm going to go through every reason why I ditched all of that for the MacBook Air 15-inch, including switching from a MacBook Pro 16, all the benefits that come with that. So let's get into it. The main reasons I chose this laptop over my 16-inch MacBook Pro M1 Pro are sort of questionable and definitely nitpicks. First of all, I wanted a different color, and I know that sounds really trivial, but this midnight is definitely an improvement to me over the space gray for the other one. It does pick up fingerprints, but I can't think of a better color other than the space-like MacBook Pro, which also does the same thing, but is significantly more expensive depending on the model that you get. Okay, so second, this M2 chip has more power than I'll need for the foreseeable future. Although I make videos now and need a good processor, this thing definitely does the job and handles light coding, schoolwork, and other small tasks really well. So I imagine that this laptop can really handle most of what people are going to throw at it. I have the 512GB version, so I will get the faster loading times with faster storage, and I really don't mind the 8GB of RAM at all, but of course I'll have to make that upgrade eventually. But for most of what I do, 8GB of RAM is perfectly adequate, and I imagine that that's the same use case for most people. So in my opinion, another good reason why to make the switch from a bigger or smaller laptop to the 15-inch MacBook Air is because 15 inches on a laptop is pretty much perfect for a thin and light portable laptop. This thing basically checks all those boxes, and coming from a 16-inch MacBook Pro, the difference is definitely noticeable, but it also is kind of obnoxious every time I want to write a document or do any sort of small work to open up a huge 16-inch MacBook Pro and start doing work. Viewing content and seeing more is definitely an advantage in this case, but honestly, there is a marginal difference in the amount of screen real estate that you get. The Pro does have a mini LED display, or now a quantum dot display with the M4, but again, also, this doesn't really make that much of a difference. I mean, you will get higher HDR brightness, but unless you're doing some crazy videography or photography work, it really won't make much of a difference. So honestly, the MacBook Air, at least for me as a student, is the go-to for this kind of stuff. So one small thing really quick, the reason why I haven't been showing the MacBook Air in my own hands during these shots is because it's actually serving as a dock for many other devices that I'm currently using to even shoot this video. I'm using continuity camera from the iPhone, I'm hooking it up to an external 4K display, I have it connected to my Rode mic, my keyboard, and my mouse. So even though the MacBook Air M2 doesn't have a whole lot of ports, it is able to sustain my workflow and also has the power to do things like video editing, programming, and everyday work. So with that, let's get into the second reason why I switched over. Objectively, any MacBook Pro is going to beat out the MacBook Air, with fans for cooling, better performance, better screens, maybe even better keyboards, and definitely better speakers. But for students who just need the basics and just a little more out of their laptop, the Air lineup is sure to be great, especially with that lightweight and great feature set. Plus, there were some cosmetic imperfections on my MacBook Pro when I first bought it, so I kind of had a justifying reason to buy a slightly used Air, and it was kind of a sight for sore eyes to have that. So this whole thing really isn't a comparison of this laptop against other 15-inch laptops or desktops, which I'm sure are great and can handle pretty much any task that you throw at them. But these are mainly just the reasons why making the switch to the MacBook Air is justifiable, even when the MacBook Pros are objectively better at everything. If I could, I would definitely choose a space-like 16-inch MacBook Pro over this particular computer, but until then, this machine works like a charm and does everything that I want it to. So I would recommend an M2 or M3 MacBook Air 15-inch to pretty much anybody, but of course in the midnight color. So to reiterate, this laptop is going to be quite perfect for anybody doing any sort of light work like video editing or programming or, even light gaming. But other than that, this is like a great computer for pretty much everybody. Great screen, great keyboard, great performance. So with that, I hope that I've helped you make a purchase decision and told you about some insightful experience of mine. And until the next one, thanks for watching and look out for the next video.